On the expedition.
Summoning courage, Murphy drew a deep breath and stepped away from the trunk of a great tree towards the branch. "Come on, hand boy. The light won't stay all day," Coyle called snidely from across the canyon. "Don't call him that, Coyle," Annabelle reprimanded. "It's perfectly safe, Murphy," she reassured. He gulped and stepped forward. One foot after another he pressed forward. Unable to avoid watching his feet, he had a clear view of the drop below him and the seemingly endless abyss that awaited his mistakes. The branch met another that grew from the opposite side of the canyon where the others were waiting for him. The crossing wasn't what had him fretting, it was the threshold. Since he was a small child, he had never passed the threshold. To most it was the forest canyon that moated their village, but Murphy had always been able to see the threshold itself. To him it was a tall wall that bordered the canyon itself, a wall the color of protection, at least. That's what he called the color. The village of Malnur Ronkir was situated in a unique place that kept it safe from harm, though beyond the threshold the peaceful village life ceased to be. The hunters and miners of the village often returned with fantastic tales of magnificent monsters and beasts that descended from the heavens to claim mortal souls. Brilliant stories indeed, brilliant stories that Murphy had always had a desire to live for himself. Being the apprentice of a blacksmith, however, had determined him to have a life of supplying the men he envied. That's why when Annabelle approached him about an expedition to the wizard's tower that lay beyond the threshold, he felt he owed it to himself to accompany her, despite the cruelty he knew Coyle would be all too eager to provide. "It's easy for you, Coyle," Dondon called from behind him. "You've been out there before. There's nothing out there to be afraid of for the strong, Dondon," Coyle replied, slamming his chest with his fist. "You must be terrified in that case," Murphy said, shooting Coyle a smirk as he stepped to safety. "What was that?" The chief's son shouted back in indignation. "I was implying that you're weak, Coyle. Did you just call me weak?" Murphy grunted as he made the leap from one branch to the other. "And not good at listening either. Oh, you are so dead, handboy." Coyle wielded that name as though it were a weapon. "Guys, can you hurry it up already?" Annabelle hugged her arms close to her chest. "It'll get dark before we reach the tower." "All right then, Dondon." Coyle saw an opportunity to take charge again. "It's your turn. Let's get moving." Dondon followed in Murphy's steps, sticking to the thickest part of the branch. "How far down do you think it is?" Coyle asked, smiling at Dondon. "Nearly as low as your father's standards," Murphy quipped, not bothering to look at the boy. "All right, horseshoes, I've had enough of your smart." Coyle started, but was interrupted by a yelp from Dondon. The moss beneath his feet had come loose from the traffic and broken away. He struggled to grip the branch as he slipped to its side, slamming his ribs on the way down. His wild scramble was unsuccessful, and the others watched in stunned silence as Dondon plummeted screaming into the abyss. "Dodo!" Coyle yelped. The others froze in shock as the cries of their gangly friend faded within the gloom of the forest below. "Dondon!" Annabelle's cry faded to a shocked whimper. Murphy grabbed a nearby vine in one hand and edged himself over to look into the abyss. "Well, that's no good," he muttered ominously. "Go see if he's all right," Coyle insisted, his eyes clearly starting to wet. "Do you think you'd be all right after that, Coyle?" he asked, stepping back to the safety of the trunk. "I'm serious. The trees might have slowed him." Coyle was sounding panicked. Annabelle stood by in shock, staring at the branch Dondon had fallen from. "How do you suppose I can help him?" Murphy scoffed. "You know magic?" Annabelle mumbled. Murphy felt his mouth go dry. He gulped and considered his response. "What do you mean by that?" he asked her. "You're a blacksmith, you idiot," Coyle snapped. "Don't you use runes all the time?" Murphy relaxed. They were right, of course. As his grandfather's apprentice, he had a lot of exposure to runes and magical inks. In their craft, they would design a rune to aid in something's functions, the magical inks being an important part of the process. Humans would have to use a power source to empower the runes. Murphy kept it a close secret that he didn't need to worry using a power source, as he could just empower the runes himself. The knowledge of his power being public would spell certain danger for him and his family. "It doesn't really work that way," he replied.
Jesus Christ, Annabelle, you have a giant penis. He dropped to his knees, in awe of the glorious, sweaty, pimpled cock before him. "I know that, Murphy," she screamed at him in her bird call. "May I touch your sweaty shaft of power, my beautiful emu? May I suckle upon its moisture and dream of the day my father left me one last time?" "Yes," she hissed, Become my servant of erotic nightmares, and I will trim your beard until the sun is but a husk. She whispered to him. Mad, he said. What the sister fucking fuck, dude? Coyle looked shocked and betrayed. Murphy, you pasty bitch-ass nigger. That's my girlfriend's party. Stick your twerking on. Fuck off, fag master, Murphy said around the tip. You're gay. But what about Dodo? Coyle asked with barely contained arousal. We can fuck his man pussy later, said Murphy, wiping off some lady jizz from his chin. Murphy's right, said Annabelle, tucking her little Richard back into its case. We have to save Dodo. Annabelle, said Murphy, you vapid slut. I never said that. Somebody needs to do something, said Coyle. The prom is tomorrow. Fear not, my children, said a voice from the heavens. Suddenly, a bright light filled the sky. Thousands of angelic voices could be heard, singing in unison, and the roar of a Harley-David motorized bicycle came like thunder to the ears of those little pusses. It can't be, muttered Murphy. But it is, came the voice, clear amidst the noise, as hippie Jesus came riding down upon his God cycle. My lord, said Murphy, dropping to his knees. We are not worthy. We are not worthy. Fucking A, said hip Jesus, raising his sunglasses. They could see a single tear-shaped tattoo on his cheek. You made me cry, the Savior said. With that, he unsheathed his katana and beheaded Murphy on the spot. Seeing his righteous wrath sated upon the sinners, the Lord looked around at the other two people who are now full-grown adults, for legal reasons. Jesus Christ, said Jesus Christ, you've got a giant penis. Thank you, said Annabelle, and they all prayed the gay away. Before they started their slimy biracial orgy, the first race bought with them treats from their mountain people. The second race bought shit and piss in a Kohl's bag that they bought from home. All were honored with their gifts, and they ate Murphy's still twitching corpse while the Jew told stories about heaven, and that my children, said Jesus, is why Obama is a war criminal. Everyone clapped. Annabelle got AIDS because she is a no-good, dirty, cheating, back of an alley whore who gives her own back alley to strange men in exchange for poorly manufactured drugs that the guys probably stole from more whore kids. Annabelle is a kid again, by the way. And wicker baskets. She gives head for wicker baskets. Sweet girl, really. The end.
Don, what the fuck, dude? You only just sat down. We need to have this done by Friday. You do understand I need this job to feed my family right.
Nick, I'm sorry, man.
I don't want to hear it. I have court with Beth on Monday, and if I don't make this commission, she will get full custody because my earnings are too low.
Nick, buddy, I didn't know.
Of course you didn't. You're selfish, Don. You know she was married.
What do you mean?
You know exactly what I mean. Fuck you, Don. I'm done with this shit.
What a cuck.
Is Nick gone?
Shut up, bitch. I don't pay you to talk. I pay you to suck.